I realised if he does that to you all the time, guess what? You're going to go psycho, like lose your mind.
Hello my friends who listen to Ebird Online, and I'm back with another review. And guess what? I'm here to give you the very latest on Rob, Sophie and Claire, Sophie's mum. So it's come to my attention that Claire has never been in a situation that she couldn't accidentally make worse. But this week we see what happens when she's trying. Oh Lord, Rob, you better watch out. Yes, that's right, it's 90 Day Fiancé Season 10, Episode 14, and it's the beginning of the end of Rob and Sophie. Before we begin, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's subscribed to my channel. If you haven't done so, consider it. I can't think of a single reason why you wouldn't just press the subscribe button. And while you're at it, don't forget to smash that like button if you enjoy the video. And if you know anyone else who you think might enjoy it, please don't forget to share on your social media. Thanks guys. Right, so without further ado, I give you Rob and Sophie. Now, as we all know, Sophie is way too young to be getting married to Rob. She barely knows herself. But before I review the latest shenanigans from Sophie and Rob, I just want to clear something up. Now, it's very clear to anyone with two eyes that Claire's an antagonist. And she does look as if she chews Super King cigarettes. But in my last video, so many people said, "You're standing up for Claire, you're not holding her accountable. She was extremely rude and she just wanted an argument." And guys, I'll say the following. She doesn't like Rob and he doesn't like her, and she was very antagonistic in the previous episode. However, I actually think that she kept it quite calm, in fact very calm, when she saw the state of Rob's apartment. Most mothers would have an aneurysm if they saw their daughter living in such conditions. She could have said a lot more to Rob, and she kind of, for once, buttoned her lip. Also, Rob was extremely rude to her and he started shouting immediately. But I do have to say, if my daughter were in the same situation that she finds her daughter, yeah, I'd have an awful lot to say. I've only seen this couple on the TV, and believe me, I've got plenty to say about Rob and his many shortcomings. So yes, my view of Claire was tempered, given the circumstances in which she found her daughter. So now that's out of the way, let's all get on with analysing this shit show. So we begin this week with the realest thing that Sophie's ever said. It's almost like a light bulb has gone off and she understands Rob at his core, i.e. an envious little biatch. And so guys, picture the scene. Rob's outside in the courtyard. "I gotta do it all by myself. I ain't got nobody." What? What have you done on your own, Rob? Reach for the very bottom, all on your own? Well done you. So Rob's outside in the courtyard and he's ranting and raving and chuntering on, and Sophie finally finds some sense and she says the following.
"I'm working on it. I still want better. I'm not satisfied."
I feel like Rob is jealous about my upbringing. I feel like he tells me all the time how he's had it really difficult and I should be lucky that here's the thing, I'm very grateful about my upbringing. I'm your fiancé, I'm not someone that you should be jealous of. And I just feel like he's has this weird resentment to me that I was raised differently from him.
So come on now, Sophie, you're halfway there. Think about this. What does this really mean? People that are jealous of you usually want to knock you down a peg or two. Now you've worked this out, you should consider running. Immediately and fast. Think Usain Bolt. So anyway, all the time Rob was sitting outside, chuntering, Sophie was packing a bag. And she and her mum come out into the courtyard and Sophie's mum said, "I apologise if I irritated you, but I'd like it if Sophie could stay with me tonight." And Rob said, "Yeah, fine." Although guys, it didn't look fine. He looked rather unhappy. And the girls made good their leave.
And now her mom is co-signing her, so she's co-signing her mom. They're just on the same team together, and they're feeling good. They're feeling like they got me in a good corner, and they're making me sound stupid. And Rob better fix it. There's not one thought in Sophie's mind right now about that's my future husband.
Oh, Rob, my darling, there is a thought about that. Sophie's thinking, oh God, that's my future husband. Or perhaps she's thinking, oh God, that's my future husband. But I gotta tell you, I'm crossing my fingers, my legs, everything, hoping that she's thinking, oh God, that's my ex-fiancé. Guys, hope springs eternal. And also, I just want to take very quick issue with the fact that he said Sophie's co-signing her mum and her mum's co-signing Sophie. Sophie thinks all of these things anyway, but if she ever dares to bring it up to you, you shout her down, you're angry, you're belligerent, you call her a spoiled brat, and you basically gaslight her and shut the conversation down. The only time when she feels she's able to say what she really feels is when she's got full backup straight from the East End, do you know what I mean? Otherwise known as Mother Dearest. You, Rob, should be very worried that your partner can't express herself freely. That should be your concern. But of course it's not your concern, because it's your express intention. That's how you want it. So the couple get a taxi back to Clare's hotel room, and Claire said to Sophie on the way, halfway through the conversation with Rob, I started thinking, am I losing my mind? Am I talking nonsense here? And she said I thought about it for a minute, and then I realised we're having two different conversations. Guys, they're putting all the pieces of the jigsaw together. I just need you to actually see the full picture. And then Sophie's mum said, if he speaks like this all the time to you, it's literally going to send you mad. It's going to drive you psycho. And guys, she's speaking nothing but the truth. In the middle of the day, Rob will tell you it's night. He'll tell you the sky's pink and the grass is blue. In Rob's world, nothing is as it seems. He spends all his time deflecting because he knows very well that most people manage to get, I don't know, a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment with an indoor toilet all on their own without any rich parents or help from dodgy grandfathers on the Costa del Sol. And because he can't manage to do it, he tries to twist the narrative into something completely different. But then Claire preached the gospel.
I know it's your dream, I know you love him, and I know you can see the good in him. But you being around him 24/7, I guarantee within 6 months you won't be the Sophie that I know. You'll be depressed, all your little sparkle will go, all your dreams will go. You can't be around that.
It's official, I stand Claire. She's just got good old-fashioned logic, and I love to see it. Just you listen to your old mum, Soph. And Claire tells production if Rob's esteem is on the floor, he's going to try and drag Sophie down with him. And I think we all know that Rob does have self-esteem issues. I personally think that one of the reasons that he's so hell-bent on pretending that he's in a relationship with random women off the internet and then getting them to send him racy videos is definitely some sort of power play. He loves the power he has over them, and it's the only power he does have. Because he doesn't have financial power or societal power or any other type of power you might have, the power his looks give him are pretty much all the power he has. And whilst we're on this subject, I also think that the only reason that he's hell-bent on having Sophie as a girlfriend, who he considers a 10, is so he can say, look everybody, look what I've got, look what I've achieved. If Rob really ever used his brains, he'd realise that what he really needs is an Ariella. Somebody with great familial wealth and somebody whose parents are happy to sponsor her and whatever husband she has at that moment, ad infinitum. I think that's quite a good plan, although I guess the only flaw in that plan would be the fact that Ariella would demand 24-hour access to his phone. No more videos now, Rob. So the next time we see Sophie and Claire, they decide to go for something to eat in a restaurant. Hopefully they're having sautéed Rob's bollocks. And the two of them sit down, and Claire says to Sophie, what are you going to do now? And Sophie said, well, I need to give him time to think, and in fact I'm looking forward to staying at a nice hotel for once. And then Claire lets production know that she has some major issues with Rob and the level of his anger.
I came to LA with an open mind with Rob, but I think he has some anger issues, which for me is red flags. The way he escalated so quick and couldn't bring himself down, like his rage went and there was no talking to him. That to me is a red flag. I'm not happy with the anger.
And guys, I couldn't agree more. And this is what we're seeing on camera. This is what we're seeing when Claire's around. What are we not seeing? What happens when nobody's around? I think Rob's anger issues are a major, major concern. Guys, Rob's nothing more than a hate crime on women. But what he did next was, well, it's 101 in the manipulation handbook. He sent Sophie a picture of a beautiful sports car and he said, look, this could be ours. Wait, what? How could it be yours, Rob? You don't have a job and you don't have any money. Guys, maybe he's planning on winning the lottery. But it was quite funny because Sophie saw right through it and she said, the fact that he's sending me this means that he knows he's in the wrong. He would never contact me first if he thought he was right. But then guys, just when I thought Sophie was finally getting it, she went and said the following.
After what's went down, I understand people make mistakes, which is fine, as long as people apologise and admit that they're wrong sometimes, which is completely fine. So what I want from Rob when I do speak to him is for him to apologise. And if he doesn't apologise, that's going to really bother me because it kind of shows he doesn't care about other people's feelings and he won't take accountability and he doesn't realise he's doing things wrong. So I don't think I want to marry someone like that.
Right, so Sophie, what you want from all of this is a hollow apology. If he sinks to his knees and says, Sophie, I'm so sorry, what is it he's apologising for? Is it for being a manipulator? Is it for being a user? Is it for telling the world that you're a spoilt little brat that everybody pays for, even though he knows it's not true? Is it for speaking to your mum really badly? Or is it for not bothering to get a job? Or do you want him to apologise for not having the wherewithal to get an apartment which is suitable for 2 people and which has an indoor bathroom? What exactly do you want him to apologise for? Guys, it's typical Sophie. Do you remember last week when I said she capitulates in an argument really easily? Well, this is planning the capitulation in advance. So all he has to do is say, I'm sorry, and all of this is forgotten. Oh Lord. And so once again, Sophie gives Rob a get out of jail free card. And then Claire asks Sophie how she's feeling about getting married. And she said at the moment, it's no more than 50-50. I don't want to be with somebody who behaves like that. But guys, Sophie's beginning to be, a little bit self-aware. Because she told production, you know what, I do have a habit of pushing all the problems to the back of my mind. And I just focus on all the good parts of the relationship. Right. Okay, there's very little for her to focus on then, I guess. And she said, but I don't want to be delusional. I want to see things for what they are. And my mum's helping me do that. And so Sophie goes back with her mum to her hotel. And she's still busy contemplating if the relationship can work. But guys, I pretty much know that she wants it to work because she checks her text messages every 3.5 seconds to see if Rob's contacted her. And come on guys, we've all been there. If you're consistently checking and actually bothered, it means you're going to get back with the person. We all know when you're really done in a relationship, and it's when you literally couldn't give a flying frig if the person texts you or contacts you or not. And when I consider the whole situation, I actually think that Sophie's upset with the way that Rob behaved in front of her mum. And I don't really think she's thinking about the bigger picture, i.e., does he respect her at all? And is he actually willing to find a job and to try and push himself forward in life? And for what it's worth, I don't think so. I think Rob wants the easy way out. I think he's a typical pretty boy and he's used to gliding by in life using his looks. And as everybody knows, that only works when you're quite young. Opportunities start running dry as your dad bod sets in. And it's exactly the same for women as well. And so you need to be prepared to get your hands dirty. And I don't think that Rob is. I think that Rob is waiting for Sophie to unlock a secret vault of millions, which will take him to Venice Beach or wherever he wants to be. The fact that he thinks that normal life and normal living is so hard unless you're given money by family tells me that he's still looking for the easy way out. And sidebar, that's likely why he's on this show. And the next scene puts everything I've just said into sharp focus, because we see him at the local laundrette and he meets up with his friends. And so Rob's doing his laundry and Ty and Tori come in and straight away they ask him about the wedding and they ask if he's nervous, and Rob lets them know things aren't going too well. He then lets them know that it's possible that there won't even be a wedding. But what I found quite amusing was Rob was trying to explain what happened between Sophie's mum and him and the argument, and he said I was just like, F it then. And it seems as if Rob's friends know all about Rob's terrible temper.
She had, I think, an iffy opinion because, her and Sophie are so close, but Sophie's going to tell her all of the negatives. And then it was just like, them two against me, and a real man would have held off on the relationship for a year to get a new spot and then continue the relationship.
She went there.
Which to me just made me feel like, all right, then it then. Like,
I know how you get. We know how you get. Sounds like it.
Guys, did you hear that? Ty says, we know how you get, we know how you get. So he must be famous for these terrible temper tantrums. And then Rob moans some more to production. Amongst other things, he said he lost all respect for Claire when she said he wasn't a real man. And also, he wishes Sophie would have his back instead of siding with her mother. So then this is when things get a little bit convoluted. His friends say to him, you've been together 3 years, why haven't you noticed these things that you don't like about Sophie previously? And Rob said, well, I haven't spent a lot of time with Sophie and her mum, so I didn't have chance to realise that Sophie would always side with her mum and jump on the bandwagon when people are talking about my flaws. Rob, that's not the issue. The issue is all of the things that you haven't put into place before Sophie's got there. And you cheating, I mean, that's an issue in and of itself. But the main thing is all of the things you haven't done. You promised Sophie that you'd get a new apartment before she came. You failed to do that, and that's why the girls are moaning and complaining. But Rob seems to think the only problem is that when anyone's pointing out his flaws, Sophie should back him up and she isn't. He's not even contemplating the fact that perhaps I failed her, perhaps I should at least have a job. But his friends believe if he does get married, things are not set to go very well.
I really have a sixth sense on this. Like, Rob is going to do this, but he's not going to be truly content or happy with the marriage. And Sophie's going to be in it for all the wrong reasons. And if anything, is going to end up in divorce.
And Rob finishes off by saying, I have all the time until I say I do to back out of this wedding. And guys, that's where we end things for this week. So guys, what do you think to all of this? Do you think, as I do, that the main problem is Rob's unwavering commitment to a soft life? He doesn't want to work, he wants to be kept, and he thinks his looks will get him there. That's what I think. But I have to agree with him on one thing: the longer that Clare is with Sophie, the more problems they're going to have, because Clare's opening Sophie's eyes to a potential terrible future. And she's also pointing out things such as Rob's low self-esteem and why Rob's trying to pull her down. Sooner or later, Sophie's going to wake up and smell the coffee, I think. But guys, I'd love to know what you think. Please put your comments down below. And I'll see you very soon. Guys, thanks so much for listening. And please, if you've yet to do so, consider subscribing. That way you won't miss any of my new uploads. And also don't forget to smash the like button. You've been listening to Ebird Online, and I bid you good day.
Some kind of